Hello and welcome to our show. I'm Russell Harvey, and joining us today for our little roundtable discussion are four of New York's hottest comedians. Mike Ivey is from the Improv in Manhattan and some other clubs. Sarah Silverman from Catch a Rising Star. Over on my flanker mic is Mark Cohen. And who do we have over here on the end?
I'm Phyllis Diller. My name is Adrianne Tolsche, and I'm homeless. I operate out of a paper box and do my act on 14th Street. No, I'm mostly at stand-up New York.
Let's talk about being homeless, though. I mean, that's a subject that's
great segue, Russell. That's a segue, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the point of the show. Is we're not tackling any set agenda. Whatever comes up, comes up. Except from the people in the audience, you're not allowed to actually ask questions.
And these are the homeless. They're actually here tonight, so it's nice to see them.
We're
It's nice to see them inside.
But when we're dealing with something like that, I mean, how do we find humor out of homelessness? You know, we've gotten in such an age of politically correct speech. But what's going on in the city today? What do you think we can do about it, Mike?
Yeah, I get to answer all the easy ones. Yeah. Well, I have no idea, and and I didn't say I was going to answer questions like that today.
Is it still okay though to be bugged by the homeless?
What do you mean when they ask you for money?
I mean, is it politically incorrect to find when a guy runs up to you
To
and
like
you're with?
not want to help?
Well, not to. I mean, everybody wants to help, but let's say you're on a date, which actually has happened to me on occasion, and some fellow who's been sleeping in the street in his own body fluids comes up and runs up and grabs the two of you and asks for quarters. I mean, that can spoil
Well, is he sleeping or grabbing you? I mean, one or the other. If he's sleeping and then he gets up and he accosts you and your date.
You should have ran.
Well, there's a law now in the city in subways. The homeless aren't allowed to run up and bother people car to car in the city. They still do it.
I mean, you talk about homeless people. I mean, there's people that have homes that are bumming money. So, you know what I mean? That's what you have to decide if they're really destitute or they're just lazy.
So you think there's a sham?
I would say a good percentage. I mean, besides the show? No, I think that, yeah, definitely I think people are lazy and they could be working and they're scamming.
I think it's more work to go out and...
Well, that could be, but that's, you know.
It's not worth it to worry about it. You might as well, I mean, obviously the person's going to need money. Whether it's a sham or not, they're not doing it because they have a condo somewhere in Maine. You know?
Oh, yeah, you used to panhandle on 14th Street. I remember that.
I mean, I bet you don't give money.
Well, I give money, but I give to organizations. And then I write it off on my taxes.
Like any good American.
We'll erase that afterwards.
I mean, I've been late at night in my house going to the store, and there's a girl, 12 years old, with a newborn baby. I mean, what, you're going to give her $1? What's $1 going to do? I mean, but you do though. I mean,
pet milk.
What? I kind of find myself like, not really wanting to, but I can't look. There's in New York City, it's too much. You can't really. I don't have time to decide which person is really like legitimately destitute. I always thought that there were organizations that were supposed to help people, and I know that's like I had a guy walk up to me the other day. He said, "Condoms?" He's got a plastic bag full of condoms, and I said, "No thanks."
What's he saying?
And then he said, "Street news." So, you know, condoms are street news. It's the same thing.
how many kids you have, Mike?
No, I mean it's the same thing in terms of it's just a hit up. It's just another way to hit you up for money.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Guy said, if we can't sell the street news in New York, they're gonna move this whole operation to Chicago. And I said, really? That makes me not give instead of give.
You know, I have the trouble with the guys coming up and washing your windshield. You know, and I sometimes
I saw a guy wash your windshield with a pigeon. I mean, yeah, things are really.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw a guy washing a
That's
pigeon
true.
with a car. That was amazing.
Well, I guess the pigeon put it there, right? Huh?
I mean, homeless is a big topic to. I mean, what do you do? I mean, you can't give to everybody. I mean, as comedians, we don't make much money.
Well,
I'm rich, and you know, what do you? I mean,
no, but you worked with Comic Relief last year.
Yeah,
right?
But you do stuff like that. You do benefits.
But you've got to. But you know, I figured this out. If you gave to every person that asked for a quarter, if you gave them a quarter, you'd probably spend $12 or $14 or $20 just going from Grand Central Station to wherever you're going in the city.
Change your route.
wherever you
Get a
go.
cab and get out at the door.
It used to be 10 years ago that you go into Manhattan and there was the Bowery
And
there
now
were the
Manhattan
clubs.
is the Bowery.
Now the entire thing,
Yeah.
and I guess the homeless are like anyone. You know, they don't like a long commute to work.
I think
That was one of the laugh lines, guys.
I think one of the problems is like you really can't pass something off like this easily. I don't want to, there's nothing really funny. There's nothing in my act about the homeless, not because I'm not sensitive to the plight of the homeless. It's just that I think that it would help more to do things like comic relief and, like all of the charities that you can give to the Salvation Army and everything. I think that people have to work through the channels that are set up for that. I mean, or people just aren't qualified to make the decision on the spot, on the street.
I just wish they'd be more honest. You know, if they said, "Could you lend me $1 so I can buy some
What's
Ripple?"
that gonna do?
You know what? This is.
Yeah, what is that going to do?
If they were more honest.
Yeah.
Well, at least.
Well, at least you're honest. I mean, they need the money.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't matter what they say. Am I being a jerk?
No, that's right. No, that's right. I mean,
well, maybe
it
we
doesn't
should
matter
get the shelters to work better. I mean, obviously they're out there and they're worse off than any of us. And maybe if we could, as a community, create a situation where the mentally ill had some help, those who were truly destitute could get it, because that's got to be a last resort. I've got to be of the opinion that anybody who is capable of not being on the street begging for quarters, either emotionally or financially, wouldn't be.
Do you live in Manhattan?
No, I moved back out to the suburbs.
Where the homeless are well dressed.
Well,
For this reason, because they used to sleep in my lobby. I'd come back at 3 in the morning from a gig, and there'd be guys sleeping in my lobby, and I was paying $925 a month for a smaller room upstairs in the building.
But I always left when you woke me up. I used to think that.
You see, that's comedy.
finally.
That's what we do.
I used to think
Finally.
that it was just laziness by a lot of people to be homeless. But I've recently, I mean, not recently, but as you get older, you run into troubles, and you could see where one trouble could do some damage to you, and you'd slowly slip and end up like Adrian. No, but you know what I mean? So, I mean, it could happen to anybody. It could happen to you.
What else
It did
happens
happen to
as you
me.
get older?
I was
Oh, really?
was.
Were you
I was
really?
homeless. Yes, I was.
For how long?
I've been a comic for 15 years. I was homeless for a year. I was not on the street. I was very fortunate because what would happen is comics would go and do weekend gigs or overnight or whatever, and I would stay in their houses. And it was what Mark just said.
That's more
Things
being
just
a leech than being
escalated.
homeless. I mean, that's
Well,
like
if you have
living off your
money and you
friends.
stay in people's houses and then you're America's guest, then you're a leech. But if you don't have money and you stay in someone's house, you're a guest.
It's a lot of
Just
payback
a
when
gig.
you get really big. You're going to have to pay back a lot of folks.
I have been buying Porsches for people all year long. I really have.
I think it's time for you to live for Adrian.
Sisters are doing it.
It's the child within.
But it was a thing that just happened. I mean, I was a comic. If someone had said to me, Adrian, you're going to become a comic, and in 3 years you're going to be homeless for a year, I don't think I would have done it. I would have kept my Bloomingdale's charge card. However, does that mean I get something free? No. However, it just evolved. I was making $5 a night, and that's not even counting comedy. No, I was making $5 a night, answering the phones at Catch a Rising Star, taking reservations, doing the coat room at the comic strip, and you can't live on that. So things got worse and worse and escalated, and it was a terrible year. It's very difficult to keep your dignity and your sanity. Well, I don't think I kept my sanity, but especially being a woman, it's really tough. It's really tough.
And I think, I mean, I could only speak for myself. I have family and stuff, but there's people out there that you get in trouble, there's no family. I mean,
Yeah.
Or family that doesn't like them. That happens a lot, too.
not mine.
so?
Hey, what are you saying? Is my mom here?
A lot of people have family that, chuck them out.
See, Manhattan is such a complex place, and the priorities. I mean, now there's a strike. I mean, there are things that get in the way of doing things, and it's really
What's on strike now?
tough. The
Building workers.
apartment
They're standing out in front of the
workers.
Does
building.
that affect anyone here?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean here?
In front of
Here,
my
here?
building,
Yeah, I like
the
that.
guys in my building are participating in the strike, and the strike is about money. Everybody, I mean, it seems like ever since Reagan was president, there's been this movement against unions. Every time they get a chance to restructure the way things are done, then they go in, like they did with the controllers flight controllers union. You break them, then you start all over again.
And it's the same guys who were flight controllers and now doormen. That's
I don't think
Where
so,
are they going
but I
to
mean,
next?
they'll be homeless next.
Well,
That's the way it happens.
it went from traffic controller to elevator operators to doormen, so it's working out.
It's got its ups and downs.
Next topic.
Huh?
Sarah's a little uncomfortable with the
What'd
homeless
you
issue.
Oh, I was just. No.
Might be time to move on. I think so.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, let's move on, man.
Did you used to be blonde?
Somebody knows. Laughed at that.
You mentioned a bit ago about some of the things that happen to you as you get older.
No, he mentioned that.
No, he didn't say you were
Yeah.
getting older.
No, he didn't
you
say I
said-
was getting
you
older.
said
He said
the,
things
no, we were
happen to
discussing
you.
the
No, you
mature.
I said it,
You did?
but I was talking about her.
We haven't gotten older yet.
I'm an old man.
But what happens to your perspective?
It's you still.
I had to get a different pair of glasses. But
For
what do you
instance,
mean?
look, we have two.
What happens to your perspective as you get older? I
No,
don't
we
think
have-
that's
we have-
wide enough.
We have two women on the panel, and I was going to ask about dating. It appears that it's
Well,
flipping
ask her.
something.
Ask her.
But how do you approach dating differently? I know Sarah's looking
Ooh,
at
why are you
Sarah's
asking
looking
us
for
about
Prince
dating?
Charming. I mean, what
I'm married. I don't date
I'm a-
anymore.
Well, you can clear with your husband first.
That's safe sex. Wait till he's out of town. You know.
That's why you're doing that, and I do what I do.
What are the pitfalls of dating? I mean, besides the obvious one that it's like dangerous to one's life nowadays. What's the worst thing that happened on a date recently?
I don't really date. I just hang out.
Ooh.
You know,
With
you
the
know,
comics?
I'm just, yeah. I mean, just the same as guys, I guess. It's just like, you know, you date people and then say you break up and things are hard. You know, whatever. It's just like dating. I mean, I don't really know anyone else besides comics now, except for some friends from school, but I don't date them.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, you and I before the show were talking about the subject of old girlfriends.
Oh yeah.
Some of them being the same girl. No, but we and you brought up the problem of
By the way, the test came back. We're both okay.
you brought up the problem of what happens to friendships. Girls are always the ones that say, "Let's be friends" at the end of a relationship.
Don't get me going on women this week. I'm very misogynistic this week. Women are, you know what? Women are wonderful people, but
what happens-
men and women relationships they're completely different as far as I can see. Men hold on to it for 30 years, and women turn it off in like a day.
But what happens at the end of a relationship?
Huh? Come on.
When the girl says, let's be friends, and you're like a dummy, you consider, yeah, let's be friends, and then she winds up with another boyfriend. Now,
I wonder who that happened to recently. Yeah, but I mean, the only reason men want to remain friends is because they still want to continue a relationship.
in other words, there's always the chance that she might find herself in a frivolous mood one evening.
I really believe that that's true.
Maybe the difference is that inside the relationship, guys and women are really different. I mean, what you think about a relationship is different. You know, if you break up with somebody and they want to be friends, you were friends already. You don't have to say, let's be friends.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, when you decide that the relationship is no longer viable on that level where you're going to still, like, see each other every day, live with each other and stuff like that, that's one thing. You can still be friends with somebody.
As soon as you say, let's be friends,
You
don't
know
have
you're
to say
not
that
friends.
with a friend.
See, I like to be.
But I still
Continue.
love you.
I like to continue a friendship with a girl because you know sometimes her parents will still invite me over for dinner, and you get a good meal where you can.
I love a good matzo brie in the morning that my ex-girlfriend.
Then maybe you should be friends with their parents. And then the girl could go on about her life, and you could go over and have dinner with her parents.
Well, one girl said to me, she says, "You remind me of my father." I said, "Thank you." She says, "I hate my father."
I hope you spanked her. Grounded her.
Talk about here's a segue for you. Talk about spanking. What do you think of the fight the other night?
Don't get me. I don't think. I think. I don't. Is Holyfield watch this show?
No.
'Cause I want you, man. I want you, Evander. I don't think he's a heavyweight. I think he's a pumped up cruiserweight. I think George Foreman's did a tremendous thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of scary though when you see somebody 42 years old and they're getting hit. Like the next day, George Foreman's head looked like a potato that had been mashed out of shape. It was like almost sad. I'm 41, and I know you're not supposed to get hit on the head like that. You know what I mean? Like, wait, look at Ali. You know what I heard? I heard that Muhammad Ali now, like when the doorbell rings, ding dong, he jumped. Cool down, champ. You know he killed the Avon lady a couple of weeks ago.
And you're in better shape than Foreman too.
Well, we eat at the same restaurant.
But you know, one of the reasons I think Foreman did so well was that if you take a guy who's been fighting and he's 42 and he's been fighting for 25 years straight, he's going to be a little punchy. But Foreman sat out for the last 15 years.
10 years.
So it's, yeah, I think he's 15.
Well,
But he, in other words, he hasn't been taking those steady lumps in sparring sessions and
Well, he's got the Mike the big head thing gear. Headgear, I guess, was what you would call the big headgear. He's got the headgear. It's the size of an Eiffel Tower. No, he's got a big headgear. You know, you hit him and he doesn't know it for like a week later. But if he hits you, you know it the day before.
You know it.
the boxing authority, Mark Sugar. No, the thing is, those guys are too old. They're too old.
I think Foreman would have had a better shot against Tyson.
Larry Holmes came back. There's another thing about boxing. Now Larry Holmes is back. So I think that people should just let those guys go on.
See, with Larry
fade
Holmes,
away.
he wound up embarrassed and hurt his last fight in the ring. And you can't figure that he's benefited from 3 years of inactivity.
Yeah, but they all go for the wrong thing. I think they're going for the spotlight, and they don't. I guess it's hard to like really give up, you know, that glory thing, because apparently he was a good businessman. He had a lot of good investments. He owns a lot of stuff in Eastern Pennsylvania. So he doesn't need the money. Like Sugar Ray Leonard said, he was fighting for the notoriety. He was fighting because he wanted to be somebody.
I think some people just like getting hit in the face, you know? It's like relationships. There are sick people who find themselves attracted to lousy relationships. I've known women who had relationships with guys that slapped them around, and I mean, there's something about people that just like uncomfortable pain in their lives.
Adrian, you're a psychology major.
Oh, you really
No, I don't know
that
about
part of my life is over now. I know.
And you never really liked it because you told
No,
me.
I don't think that anybody likes getting hit though, except for.
I don't know. Okay, maybe not likes, but
Well, I mean,
there's something.
that's a psychological problem. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I just kicked Adrian
And
while
I
we were
enjoy it,
speaking.
and
I think it's a psychological
But you
problem.
like
If you do enjoy something like that, that's a psychological problem, and that has to be fixed. It's not that they.
Russell, who have you been going out with?
No, I go out with girl. My problem is girls usually say you're too nice. This girl broke up. She said, "Don't call me anymore. You're too nice."
And that was at
Wow.
the Kennedy compound.
Well, I never.
I knew that he.
I never knew nice was a problem. I said, who do you want to date? Robert Chambers? I mean, there's a
She
lady.
said, I
fella.
can't get to him. He's in jail. No.
Kennedy has really helped himself to another level of political notoriety.
If you've convicted him already, yeah.
You think that, the Times published the name of the rape victim. I purposely didn't read it. It's like when you're reading a movie review and the guy says, "You'll love the surprise ending when blah, blah, blah." I didn't read the name of the rape out of taste. The New York Times, which is a liberal.
I don't believe you. I believe
No,
you
this-
read it, Russell.
But you won't repeat it anywhere, and I think that's really nice. But I actually did read. I didn't read it because when I found out about the New York Times, it was the day after. You know what I mean? And NBC News it had been on, and there was a big thing about that. I don't really agree with that. I don't think that's not a nice thing to do to
But
people.
not only that, but what would happen, say, if a very conservative, let's say there was a rape at the Nixon compound.
I think there was. I think we all got raped in that Nixon.
DB
Nixon
Bozo.
era.
But Do you think that the New York Times, who you'd think, being a liberal newspaper, would be more sensitive to the rights of victims? Do you think they would have been so quick to come out with the name of a rape victim if it had been Nixon rather than Kennedy? It seems like they're grasping to try to help the guy.
I'm going to say something politically incorrect here. The woman, right? I mean, apparently everyone is convicted, the Kennedys, that they have raped this woman. Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't a rape, but who knows if this woman was a party woman? There's people that want to do things to get notoriety, and I'm not saying that it didn't happen.
Yeah, remember Jessica
But they're convicted. I mean, maybe the woman was drunk, and maybe she doesn't remember. Maybe she seduced him, and then the next day she said, "Oh, you know."
Well, what was Kennedy going out as the last bastion of a good, strong Irish Catholic family, doing at a bar at 3 a.m. on Good Friday?
Drinking.
What people do at
And he was on his knees, right?
It was spring break. They were all a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you hear Teddy's stories. And he used to be my chauffeur, but we had to fire him.
Is Ted going to weather this?
Oh, yeah. Well, what's he going to do? His career, I think he's peaked.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's going to be the president
He'll be senator forever, right?
Senator, then a bartender, and he'll be in Cocktail 2, the movie, and Driving Miss Daisy. I think he'll end up with it. Right.
I hope not, because I want that
Sarah,
part.
would you feel safe?
He wants that part.
Would you feel safe down on the Kennedy compound?
I wouldn't feel safe on the Kennedy.
I'm not familiar with the area. I get nervous when I don't know the area.
What's the big house? There's a beach.
Oh, there's a beach?
I don't think they're mad rapists that are running around the Kennedy compound. I mean, I'm going to get in trouble, I think.
Well, we talked.
What if Teddy, right? What if Teddy?
I don't think so.
We talked about how uncomfortable the homeless in New York make us feel, and yet, maybe there's a prejudice that we bring to situations that that even in the political a political family like the Kennedys with money, with political stature, these things happen. I mean, what I'm saying is that there's no place safe, is there?
You mean like
No.
the Kennedys might rape some homeless people or something?
I want dibs on Caroline if there's something.
Well, I mean, where
course
do you go? I read that last month. I read in the paper that this family is suing Disney World because one of the Mickey Mouses went crazy and beat up a kid.
I heard.
The kid went up for an order, and
It
like
was
Mickey,
somebody in a big bed. It wasn't necessarily me.
I heard Mickey has herpes, so I'd stick away from him. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disappoint the people over there. No,
but Minnie has a small.
now I'm too far.
Now you're-
All right.
now you're in trouble.
There's the line.
No, thank you.
Back up.
Yeah, of course. No, you're not. You're not. I just found the line. You're not safe anywhere. You know. I mean, I lived in New York for 12 years. I never saw a fight. This last 6 months, I've seen a fight every day, every
Well,
2
stay
weeks.
off the street.
No.
And I have to be honest with you about one thing. You say that it makes us feel comfortable. Uncomfortable. Homelessness doesn't make me feel uncomfortable in the sense of like seeing it or seeing people. To me, it's just a part of New York. I
Part of
mean,
your life, yeah.
if I could really do something about it, I think I would. I mean, but what do? I mean, you do your job. You go where you have to go.
You have to
go
judge
home.
people.
You step over the people and
Well,
keep going.
I feel our national shame over it, but there's just so much that a person can do. But on the other hand, I feel a fear when someone is erratic and spinning around and spitting things and waving things on the corner.
That was on 2020. You're thinking of The Exorcism.
But one of the problems, don't you think one of the problems, especially in New York, is all of the people that they let out of the hospitals when Chapter 766 became law? These people had the right to self-determination, so a lot of people were let out on the street on their own that shouldn't be out there.
That was fine as long as they went to the halfway house for their shot every day or something. But what happened is they stopped going and they're not medicated.
Neither are we.
Well, I need to be after this show.
I mean, I don't know. There's murders. How many murders? What is there? Murder every?
I think there's 7 or 8 murders every day in New York.
Yeah.
Just New York City.
Russell, I don't think you should leave your house at all. I really
I'm very safe in front of the VCR.
Get things delivered, get movies, you know, get a fax machine.
Russell, give me your hand.
Oh.
I'm a closet agoraphobic.
That's the first time I ever saw you touch somebody else.
What's an agoraphobic? I don't mean to sound stupid.
That's one who won't go outside. They're scared of places.
Oh, I thought that
Afraid
was...
of being outside the street.
I thought that
And you know,
was a
they-
prisoner.
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
thought that was some... Go ahead.
They say that there's the biggest fear for people is talking in front of an audience, and yet you guys and I, we do this as almost something that we.
I had to sneak one in. You know I was going to do that.
No, but it's something that we relish, that we're attracted to, like flies to a light.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the sickness of the woman getting beat. I feel like an expert on everything. Well, wife beaters are, but it's a fear. But you get over. Oh God, that's not the same thing at all. Sorry. Can we go back to the homeless thing? I was really good on that.
But we like living in New York because the closer you are to death, the more like you are living, and everyone in New York likes to,
That's a note to end on.
That was good. Flatlines.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
That was nice.
Anyway, I'd like to thank all our audience for joining us this evening.
Yeah.
Really, those checks won't count.
And to our panel, look forward to doing this again. And I'm Russell Harvey, and we'll see you real soon. Oh!